Hi, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today I have a real special guest. He's the Director of Operations of Kelly's Roast Beef down Revere Beach, which opened up, by the way, in 1951. His name is Dan Doherty. Dan, thank you for coming on to Revere TV.
Thank you.
And give us a little history about Kelly's.
Well, Kelly's is a family-run business. It still is after almost 64 years, and we're the two families that own it are still with us, the Careys and the McCarthys. It's been in operation in Revere since '51, but we also have 4 other locations from there. We have one out in Saugus, we have another one in Natick, we put one out in Medford, and we continue to look and building other ones and building them around. So we got Natick, Medford, Saugus, Revere, and Danvers.
Where are you planning to put some of the others eventually?
We go slow. We don't take anything and go out too fast, but we don't want to get too big.
No, you don't want to get too big, but but I think a nice place, if I was in your shoes, Dan, just your shoes, I would put them in where there's a big population, like Springfield, Worcester. Yeah,
sometimes we get a little nervous going out of our demographic of the North Shore area. Yeah, we like the North Shore area. So we don't want to get too big.
Okay. By the way, give us a little history about the roast beef, because you people are known for it.
Yeah, we call ourselves the creator of the roast beef sandwich. And,
how did that start, by the way?
And I'll give you a brief history on how that started. And what happened was Kelly started out as a hot dog stand, and it was a spin-off of 2 gentlemen, Mr. Ray Carey and Mr. Frank McCarthy. Mr. Carey was the manager of the Paul Roger House, which is at the location where the Jack Satter House is now.
Right.
And Mr. McCarthy was the cook. And they decided, well, let's try to compete with some of the businesses down the other end where the amusements were and put up a hot dog stand. And they did. And they were successful and they were doing well. But one day there was a wedding planned at the Paul Roger House, and it got canceled. So they ended up saying, what are we going to do with all this roast beef that was supposed to go to the wedding guests? They decided to bring some of that roast beef over to the hot dog stand, and what they did is they sliced up the roast beef, toasted some rolls, and served the original first roast beef sandwich. And from there is history.
Exactly. So you are the inventors of the roast beef
sandwich. That we are. So it's I'll give you a little. A lot of people don't know it, and they ask us questions about the name of Kelly's. They go, because you have 2 families, the McCarthys and Careys. And again, it goes back to the Paul Roger House. And it goes back to one of their friends was the bartender at the Paul Roger House. And his last name was Kelly. He was a gentleman from Dorchester. And he ended up, they decided, well, it doesn't sound too catchy with McCarthy's or too catchy with Careys. They liked the name Kelly's, and they decided to go with that. And he moved on, and he was a successful businessman himself in Dorchester. He opened a florist business.
By the way, before we continue, I'd like to say you're part of the Doherty family.
I am.
Your brother Gene Doherty, I believe, is the fire chief in the city of Revere.
He is.
Well, he may not like this, but to me he's a real hero, and let me tell you why. I go to the senior center in Revere. And by the way, folks, if you're over 60, come on down to our senior center. We'd love to have you there. Chief Doherty came down when we had the tornado. I think it was on July 28, if my memory still serves me correct. Because when you get my age, you know, things fall apart. He came down there, shut off the gas because the gas was leaking like a... Wow. We thought it was going to blow, really, at the time. So, Chief Doherty, thank you for what you did for us, and thank you for what you did for the tornado, and thank you for what you do for Revere.
He does. He runs a good fire department in the city.
Beside roast beef sandwich, I want you to just expand a little on each one of these.
Sure.
Roast beef sandwich is your #1 landmark.
Yeah.
You also do fried clams. Now,
Fried clams are it's a strange business these days because it's an expensive product to get, you know. And so
you live right across from the ocean. What do you do?
Yeah,
just throw
but
the nets?
it doesn't work like that. You have to get them through licensed suppliers, and you have.
Oh, you just can't go out.
Yeah, you just can't go out and get them yourself. So you get them through licensed suppliers, and they could come from anywhere from Maryland. They could be local up in Maine. We have them all over the place that we have to try to get them. But they are a delicious fried clam.
And they come in fresh every day?
Every day they're coming. All our seafood is fresh every day. So
That's
we
good.
got clams, we have fish, we got scallops, we got shrimp.
Good.
So we got a lot of good items.
Another
there.
thing that you people are known for besides your roast beef,
Yeah.
fish and chips.
Absolutely.
With the tartar, and I got to mention this, with the tartar sauce. I love your tartar sauce,
And
and
you-
I love your fish and chips.
And you're absolutely saying it the correct way. It's tartar sauce, right?
Right.
It's not tartar sauce, right? So we call it tartar sauce. And again, the tartar sauce is the original owner's recipe, and that's something that we make daily in the restaurant at all our locations. So it isn't something that comes packaged and all that. That's our own recipe, and along with crisp French fries that we're known for, we're proud of those, along with delicious fish, which people have in Revere and all over New England have grown up on that Kelly's Fish Plate.
Right, another great thing you have there, and people, their mouth waters when I mention that to them. Really, I have to give them a napkin. They drool so much. The lobster rolls.
The lobster roll. It is an icon in the business. You won't find a better lobster roll out there in all of New England. We've won awards with it. We don't get too fancy. We put it on our toasted roll, which is the biggest part of it. It's traditional New England, and we don't load it with a lot of ingredients. What you're getting is lobster meat with some light mayo and a little bit of celery, and it's a delicious sandwich.
It is. I
Delicious.
can vouch for that.
Very good.
The other thing, and this is not last but least, is the hot dog and also the chicken finger plate.
Absolutely. The hot dog, believe it or not, is one of our biggest selling items in all the restaurants. And people come in just for a hot dog. They just need a hot dog fix. They come in and get a hot dog, and they ask for it all around. You know what all around is?
No.
Mustard, relish, onion, not ketchup. You don't put ketchup on your hot
Talking
dog.
about the onions, no matter what I buy at Kelly's,
Yeah.
whether it comes with it or not, I always get the onion rings because they are terrific.
These are again another staple in Kelly's is our onion rings aren't something that we go out and buy as far as a total product. We get 50-pound bags of onions and we prepare them ourselves. We bread them ourselves. So every onion ring is a fresh onion ring made from Kelly's, scratch.
Right there. So all the food that you prepare at Kelly's is done, is not bought fresh from outside. It's done fresh at Kelly's.
Absolutely. That's what we do. Onion rings are a staple with us too. We make all our own onion rings every day.
Since you are director of operations, but you didn't start off as director. You started off behind the counter. Tell us about that.
I started what I consider my summer job in 1980. It was the spring of 1980. I call it my summer job. I'm still working it. But I started as a counter help, which is taking the orders. Back then, a lot of people will remember, we didn't have computers out in the front counter, so you had to add everything up in your head. And if you couldn't add, you didn't have a job, so you ended up having to learn quick on the fly. So not until the early mid-'80s did we get computers, but it was quite interesting. It was a work ethic that you would have to work at Kelly's, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to say I started there, and to this day, I've worked my way through the ranks to get there.
I got to mention something. You talk about adding up. I got a grandson. He won the Heisman so-called trophy as the best quarterback in the state of New York.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I took him to the University of Michigan, and I said to the coach, if you want to go to the Rose Bowl in January, put him on. And the reason I want to tell you the story is because you mentioned addition. So the coach said, is your grandson pretty good in academics? I says, why don't you test him? So he said to my grandson, how much is 1 and 1? My grandson said 2. He says, how much is 2 and 2? My grandson says 4. How much is 4 and 4? My grandson said 8. I looked at the coach looked at me, and I said to the coach, give him one more chance.
Yeah, bada bing, yeah.
I thought that when you mentioned the addition. But that was true.
Good.
I got to tell you, even today, when I speak to some of the kids that come out of high school, if they don't have the computer or the tablet, they're lost.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's not the kids don't know how to do it. It's just they weren't trained to do it. I mean, you're forced to do things, you end up doing it the right way. And that, you know, back then it was a lot difficult, you know, as far as trying to add all that up. But we got it, and you had to put the tax in too, which was difficult.
Right. By the way, on behalf of the city of Revere, and I always got to say that, on behalf of Revere TV8 and the Revere veterans community, I'd like to give you a flag of this. We usually give these to veterans, but you are a real veteran of the community. You're got a history there.
I appreciate that.
Remember that with us?
We'll bring that and we'll put it right inside our location in Revere.
Yep,
all right?
And it comes from the people of Revere too.
Very
because
good.
I've got to tell you, we love your company. We love the people that work there.
Thank you.
And you do a terrific job, not only by putting in the kids there to work to learn a trade, but you also do a lot for the veterans. And I wish you would tell us something about what you do for us.
Well, a lot of things we do in the community, we take a lot of pride in. Whether you know it's veterans events that we do. We actually we gave some money to the Tornado Relief Fund just recently.
Right.
We do a lot with the school systems, along with you know, we're a proud member of the Chamber of Commerce. So we tend to diversify ourselves in all the areas, you know, not just one particular area, and it's helped, you know. And as far as hiring our help in the city and all that, the kids, you know, we have students right now, you know, that work for most of the summertime, then go back into school.
Right.
They come back and forth while they're at sports. You know, they may be playing football. They can't come in. We hire them back afterwards. And, you know, the alumni, as I call it, the Kelly's alumni is very special too. And I'll give you a couple of people that you may not know have worked at Kelly's. And one of them is former mayor and now councilor Haas.
Yes, Bob Haas.
He worked with Kelly's back in the 60s while he was going to college. You have the former fire chief, which is a cousin of mine. He worked back in the 60s, Dan Doherty.
Yep.
He worked there. We have multiple current firefighters that are on our alumni list, along with police officers. So it's you can go in. We have lawyers and doctors that have all come through Kelly's as a part-time job, and some, you know, moved on, but they all contact and let us know that we help build a great work ethic for them.
That's good. You know, we have terrific fire department and a terrific police department.
Absolutely.
In our city, and they do a wonderful job.
Yeah, they do. They do an excellent job.
I would like to change the subject for a minute. You know, I know I might get a little slack on this, a kickback on this there. You remember the incident that happened in Ferguson not too long ago, where the police department got harassed because they were doing their job and someone...
Oh, down Louisiana.
Right? They were talking about the police having too much military equipment, but let me tell you, the criminals have more than the police today, and they have to be protected with their suits of armor. They have to have those water guns that they use in there. They have to have those SUVs that they use to protect you and to protect me. And without the police, we would have anarchy in this country, no matter what city you go to. So they are real veterans of the community, and some of them are veterans of the military.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you went to high school, where did you go to high school?
I was a graduate of Revere High, 1982. And I was working at Kelly's at the time while I was graduating
Let's see,
there.
1982, that's 32, 17.
Yeah.
You must be close to 50 then.
I turned 50 this past July.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, welcome to the club, right?
I'm a July birthday too.
Is that right?
July 7th, and yours?
Mine is the 12th.
Hey, we're only 5 days apart.
That's it, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
By the way, to work at Kelly's, do you have to have a culinary training?
No, absolutely not. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves on. We can bring in a young 15, 16-year-old person and ended up showing them the way as far as even customer service skills, which is probably the biggest task.
Right.
To take a young person and teach them customer service skills. We also train. We have a good training department where we can train them to cook. all the grill cook, fry cook. We do a lot of prep work. So we do that all amongst ourselves.
Right. Now, Kelly is known all over the world, really.
Absolutely.
So how do they get, I'm sure people, when they come in down
Yeah.
the beach, I know when we had the sand festival,
Oh, absolutely.
you must have had a mob at
Yeah.
Kelly's
Oh,
over
we
there.
did. That's our busiest week of the year. We call that. That's we're happy that that's there on the beach, and we're glad to be part of it. We're a big part of it. Also, we are considered a sponsor, so we're involved with it. We actually feed all the people from the event that was coordinated and all that, so it's something that we're proud of. But along with the beach events all the time, we're involved with. There's one coming up October 18th.
Right.
The Pumpkin Festival.
Yep.
Which is down right across from Revere Beach, Kelly's. So that's coming up also.
On October the 18th?
October the 18th.
Make sure we mention that again before we go off the air.
We will.
By the way, does Kelly's have the outside delivery or the...
Yeah, we stay away from delivery, Morris, due to
Okay.
it would our food, we don't want to end up having to have our food delivered like that, and it takes a lot out of the business because you need somebody to deliver it.
Right.
And all that. So we've stayed away because you could have somebody order, I want a roast beef sandwich and deliver it on the other side of Revere, and
It's cold,
you lose. Yeah, I don't even know if it's cold because some people take it to go, but it's losing the service if people that are working at the restaurant. We would have to send somebody out, and we don't want to do that. So we stay away from it. We'd be too busy for delivery.
Tell us some of the big functions that you've catered.
Oh, we've done everything. I'll give you some of the bigger ones. We do a lot of business with Boston College right now with their athletic department. We feed the football teams.
I could tell.
Yeah. Right now we're doing an event this Sunday with the city of Medford and the mayor of Medford, who's a great guy, Mayor McGlynn. We've gone as far as give you a quick catering job that we did for several times was down to Gillette Stadium, where Mr. Tom Brady requested 120 large roast beef sandwiches and 80 lobster rolls to be delivered down there.
Are you delivering it down there?
And we actually set up shop right in their dining room, and we fed the entire team. We did that for 6 or 7 years till Mr. Kraft ended up building all the restaurants down there, and we kind of got pushed out. So.
I got an idea for you in the future. They have a new thing. They call it the drone.
The drone, yeah.
You can
one sandwich at a time. Huh? Yeah.
No. You can make up a big box of sandwiches and put it on a drone and fly right down to...
We'll try that next time.
Okay. Down to Foxborough Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are you married?
I am. I'm happily married 28 years, and I have 2 children.
You got married just a little bit older than I did.
Yeah, I got married young. I was a young marriage, but yeah, I got 2 children. Daniel's 26, and my daughter Katie's 23.
Yeah, I was the youngest of 3, by the way. The other 2 would beat the daylights out of me, and that was my mother and father.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what are your kids doing? Are they going to school?
My son actually works for the city. He's the custodian at the Wayland School. My wife actually is a school teacher in the school department in Revere.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, and my daughter is a special ed teacher out in Southborough.
So your family is pretty well educated.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Right. See, I come from a big city, and when I moved to Revere, we used to call it, no offense, man, but I'm glad I live in Revere. I wouldn't trade the worst part of Revere for the best part of New York.
There is no bad part of Revere, Morris.
No, but we used to call cities like Revere hick towns where I came from.
Really?
Yeah, New York. Even Boston was called a
really, yeah.
And when I first came up here, they recognized my New York accent. But now you don't even know I have one, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yep, because I come from 30th Avenue and 34th Street. So you wouldn't even know that I have one.
You got a whole pocket full of those jokes.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But that's how we talk in New York. When I first came up here, though, people would say to me, "You got a passport? You got a passport?" I says, "Why?" Because Brooklyn was known, Brooklynese accent over there. And by the way, you got a quite talking about Boston. You say you deliver to Foxborough.
Yeah.
What about the Red Sox?
We haven't done with
The
Red
Bruins.
Sox. Yeah, Bruins. We got a
Celtics?
lot of. Yeah, we've delivered to the Celtics. We have a lot of good loyal Boston Bruins that are customers. And we also have some of the Celtics we've seen. We've delivered to the Celtics also.
Yeah,
We've
I
done
know you.
that.
I know you do
Yeah.
the Red Sox pretty
Yeah,
good.
we've done some business with the Red Sox, but again, it's hard to do business with certain teams when they already have food establishments in their locations.
What about the teams that come in from outside, like the Yankees?
Oh, absolutely. We recently we did a lot of charter flights right out of Boston, and what happens is they'll call us up, and it'll be the sports teams. It could be the Pittsburgh Penguins hockey team, and we'll deliver right down to the airport before they get on the plane to go back home. So we do a lot of that.
Another thing, Suffolk Downs, you do that too?
We're good friends with the people of Suffolk Downs, and again, all their customers and their employees are good customers of ours.
Well, let me tell you, there's a gentleman there, I would like to mention his name because he's done so much for us in Revere over the years, before they even thought of a casino.
Yeah,
Was a gentleman by the name of Chip Tuttle, who was the director down there.
absolutely. Good man, yeah.
Yeah,
good
Chief
man.
Operations Officer. And every year, Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, they would have parties for our seniors there,
Yep.
and we would be invited there. And I'm not talking about this year, the last year, many, many, many years ago
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, they're good people down there. And it's sad to see, all this dilemma that's going on with it. But I think you'll see the city and rally around them and help them, and hopefully keep it open for as long as they can.
Now, out of curiosity, have you had some real famous people come down to Kelly's? I'm talking bigwigs, like maybe the governor, maybe
Yeah.
of
Oh yeah. Governor's easy. We've had him down a bunch of
Duval?
times. Yeah, Duval. He comes down, but we've been Goodwill Hunting movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Oh, they've been down there?
We were mentioning their movie. Ben Affleck's a customer that comes in a lot. That likes our food. So we had, a funny story was the other day, and some of us will know this, but the wrestling, one of the big wrestlers that came in the other day was called The Big Show. He was down at Kelly's and had himself a large roast beef and a lobster roll just that day. But we have people all over the place, famous, not famous, but there are a lot of people that come into Kelly's. We got people, the funny story is with customers, a lot of people grow up with Kelly's and go to Kelly's as kids and as young adults, but then move out of the state. And there's so many instances when we're working, somebody will say, I just got off the flight from Boston, and this is the first place I stopped. I had to have a roast beef sandwich.
Okay, I want you to mention two things for me before
Sure.
we close up, because we still got about 4.5 minutes
Yeah.
left. I want you to repeat that Revere Beach Fall Festival, but tell us a little about this right here.
Oh, absolutely. That's the Kelly's logo, and for people that grew up around Kelly's, you'll see this logo. It's funny. It's a little different a little different from.
Hold that up for them so they
yeah.
can blow it up.
Yeah.
Right on the screen.
Yeah. So the logo itself, what it is, if you
Right
can
there.
see, we went a little political correctness. And what we did is about maybe 12 or 14 years ago, what we call the Mr. Kelly here, he used to have a knife in his hand.
Oh, I see.
And he was slicing roast beef. So we decided to take that out and just put the roast beef instead. So that's the current logo that we have, and the most political correct logo, they call it. So we took the knife away from him.
Good.
And he's got a roast beef sandwich in his hand.
Right.
So, but yeah, and we're proud of, that logo is what we call in the business our brand. We can put that out there without any name, and people know that's Kelly's roast beef.
Right.
World famous the world over, we call it.
Right. Before we go into the Revere Beach Fall Festival, and we still
Yeah.
have 2 minutes left, give us a phone number if people want to call you up and order some
Yeah,
of the stuff. at
absolutely. Down in Kelly's in Revere, you can call and pre-order, and you can do that and phone order and come by and pick it up. And even on the cold days, we'll bring it out to your car. You won't even have to get out of your car.
And
How's
can
that?
you just give them a phone
Yep,
number?
and that's 781-284-9129. A couple of plugs, I want to give, you know, our neighbors over at the Jack Satter House.
Yep.
Great people. On October 1st, at Thursday, October 1st at 2 o'clock, there's a gentleman over there called Jerry V. He's going to do some singing out front of Kelly's, and he goes out and he sings some of the old songs like Frank Sinatra, and he's going to be out there. So it's a little plug for Jerry V. We want
And what about October 18th?
October 18th is the Revere Beach Pumpkin Festival. Kelly's donates some of the pumpkins for all the children down there, and it's always a good event. And I know Revere TV is down there also.
Right. So Dan, I want to tell you, thank you for coming up.
Morris, thank you for having us.
It's an honor to have you here
Thank you.
because you represent a world's great company, and it's
Excellent.
an honor to have you there.
And we're proud to be in Revere, and we continue to and will continue to be here for many, many years to come.
And so to the people, I want to say if they want to eat the best roast beef sandwich, Kelly's on Revere Beach is the place to go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Morris.
Thank you. And to the people of Revere, thank you for listening. Tell our veterans overseas and over here, thank you for serving our country. God bless us all. God bless you, Dan. God bless your company because they do a fabulous job. And God bless our troops and the great country, the United States of America. And thank you all for listening. Until the next time, I hope we have another great guest like Dan Doherty. Thank you again, Dan.
Thank you for having us.
And I salute you.
Thank you, sir.